FOP. Joining us now, CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig. And Elie, you've looked at the filing of this lawsuit from the two officers. What are the chances of success based on what you've read and what you've heard?
Well, Jake, I did read the filing very carefully. On the one hand, every word that the officers write in this complaint is true. They start off by saying this is one of the most egregious acts of corruption in presidential history. I think the big legal obstacle, though, is going to be what we call standing, meaning the plaintiff, in this case the officers, have to show that they will suffer some concrete injury and that that injury will be caused by the defendant's actions, here the establishment of the funds. Now, you just talked with Officer Hodges about the death threats that he's received, and the theory here is that they will continue to receive them even more. I'm not sure that's going to pass muster for standing as it's been technically interpreted in the courts. But the immutable truth remains. These officers are heroes. The people who attack them are villains. And Officer Hodges is right what he just said. Congress can stop this if there's political will.
Well, I mean, Officer Hodges was physically attacked on January 6th. I mean, he's the one caught in that door crying out in pain. Presumably, individuals were convicted of attacking him specifically. That's not standing enough to say, like, you're giving. It would mean one of those individuals who specifically attacked him or specifically attacked Officer Harry Dunn was given money, applied for money and was given money. But wouldn't that be standing?
It would surely be standing to sue the person who injured them. That is unquestionable. But what they're doing here is sort of a legal bank shot. They're saying, okay, it's not about the physical injuries imposed by these people. And it doesn't matter if this is just a corrupt, disgusting scheme. That's true. But for standing, what they're saying is, well, we've been threatened. There's a concern we'll be threatened more. And the reason we'll be threatened more is because of this fund. Now, it's not entirely clear that threats on their own are enough for standing, and it's not clear that that's a direct enough causal relation. I think if you read the filing, it's clear the lawyers anticipate that standing is going to be a tough issue for them.
Well, one of the other things that they say in the filing, the lawyers for Hodges and Dunn, is that some of this money might go to the Proud Boys, might go to one of these militias that would theoretically perpetrate acts of violence with taxpayer dollars. And there's actually a clause in this settlement and the formation of this fund saying, hey, we in the government are not responsible at all for how this money is spent.
Yeah, any sane person would raise exactly those objections. Those are reasons, I think, why we're seeing even Republicans object to this. There's a complete lack of transparency, a complete lack of accountability. Those are all 100% valid criticisms of this fund that I echo. But again, standing is a very technical, nuanced legal issue. Standing has, by the way, is important. I mean, part of the reason Donald Trump lost many of his 2020 election challenges, his efforts to steal the 2020 election, is because the people who were suing lacked standing. So yes, it's a technicality. Yes, it may be frustrating for people, but it is an obstacle you have to clear in the courts.
Elie Honig, thanks so much. Coming up, what the House Speaker Mike Johnson said today about Republicans losing their primary races and what they might think in the future when they decide whether or not to go against the president. Plus,